Hey everybody, this is Scott from What You Seek, and today we're looking at the Nomos Ahoi Datum in Siren Blue. So this guy is, the color is new for this year, 2017, but Nomos has been around since 1990. Nomos is a German company. They're in Glashütte. In fact, I think it's part of their name, Nomos Glashütte. And an interesting thing about Nomos is since 2005, Nomos has only been using in-house movements. And if you haven't looked at Nomos watches before, definitely take a look at their website and check out their design language. They're very Bauhaus inspired, or just not inspired, but they're very Bauhaus, minimalist, have a very clean, modern aesthetic. And in the past, they didn't have waterproof type watches. So now we have this guy, which is the Nomos Ahoi, and the Ahoi is part of the Aqua series. So there's another watch called the Club, another line. And so between the Club and the Ahoi, there's a total of 16 watches that are 200-meter water resistant. The Ahoi comes in two different sizes. There's a 36.3, and then what we have here today is a 40.3 diameter watch. And they come in a variety of different colors, dark colors, light colors. So I think it was Zach from Worn and Wound. I was listening to a podcast from them, and he said, out of all the companies out there, and I'm paraphrasing here, Nomos knows color. If somebody's going to do a blue or an electric red or whatever, they call this the Siren Blue, they know how to do it. They really understand color and design. So let's talk a little more in detail about this guy here. I'm going to zoom in again, get a better view, and I'm going to move that light out. Okay, so this case is a 40.3 polished stainless steel case that is polished everywhere. So there is no brushed surfaces on this guy. Lug to lug, we're talking 51 millimeters. Height, it's fairly thin. It is 10.64, and lug to lug width, we're right at 20 millimeters. The sapphire on the top here, as you can see, because you're seeing my lights all over the place, it is a dome sapphire. It does not seem to have any coating on here, so definitely it does pick up the reflections. So on the case here, we have a crown guard that sits on top of on this circular case here. So it sits up on there, and then the crown, of course, is right in the middle. The crown is signed, says Nomos in there. The case itself we can kind of break it down into three different parts. We have the center section in here, and then the top bezel and then the bottom case back are recessed ever so slightly to give a nice reveal here. And the case overall is very, what I would call, angular, right? There is not a big curve to any of the pieces. Now, the edges of the case, it's soft. It's not sharp to the touch in any way, but it is very angular in its design. The case back, we can see here, has a nice bevel on it, okay? So the bottom of the case has the reveal here. It kind of bevels back there, and then the sapphire back sits proud just a little bit of the case back. The case back is held in with 6 screws here, and we have some engravings. We have the name, the Ahoi, the serial number, the whale, showing that it's water resistant to 20 atmospheres or 200 meters there. So, and again, it's polished all the way around. So that's the case. Well, the lugs, let me talk about the lugs. The lugs are very geez, what's a flat, right? There's not a lot of width to where it meets in here on the case. So they come straight out, and you can see they go straight out, and then they have this angle to them. They are drilled, so very easy to change straps with this guy. So you just use your tool, something like this. Just be careful not to scratch, because this is polished. I wouldn't want to scratch that. So I don't know, would I use the push pin to come from the outside, or use the spring bar tool and go on the inside? I don't know. So that's the case. Let's talk about the strap. So it comes on this blue-black textile strap. And just looking at it, I would call it black, but then when you look a little closer, bring it outside, you can see it is a very dark navy strap. It's very soft. It's very flexible, easy on the wrist. It has some nice stitching in here. On the back, you can see that it has, it's glued or some heat welding. I'm not sure how that works. And then stitched on there, you've got the name Nomos. And I do like the stitching that runs around. Oh, come on, focus. Can you get it? There we go. There's some really nice stitching on the edge of the strap. So overall, it's a nice strap. Has a signed Nomos, again, polished buckle on there. Okay, so that's the case, the strap. Let's talk about the dial. So like I was saying earlier, Nomos really has a design language or an aesthetic. When you go to their site and you look at the different watches that they have, you know, even if it was a new watch I've never seen before and it didn't have the name on it, you put it in front of me, I could probably tell you if it was a Nomos or not. So this dial here, this is the Siren Blue dial. And it's not going to show up on camera, but there is a texture to the blue. It's so I'm a photographer, and you know, you can get glossy paper, you can get matte paper, and then there's this kind of one in the middle called a luster, and there's this like slight texture. So it's not glossy and it's not matte. That's kind of what this dial is. I like the kind of texture with it. It is printed. The numerals here, the 12, 2, 4, 8, 10, and then you have these markers at the other hours. There's minutes that run around, and then you have the squares in back of each hour, and then that square outline is filled with a superluminova dot. The lume on this guy is really good. You have a sub-seconds down here, and the sub-seconds is sunken down. And so it sits below the main part of the dial, and it has concentric circles in there. And in case you haven't noticed, that is a neon orange sub-seconds hand. I love it. Just a little pop of color, but nothing crazy. The date window down here at 6 has a little bevel to the window, and the window is this trapezoid shape. It's not square. So it kind of has a nice feel to the angles to the left and right here at 5 and 7. And one thing that's really neat is that whatever color Ahoi, I think there's 3 different colors that have a date with it. The date disc that's underneath here matches the dial color. So again, that's going back to the in-house movement. They can do that themselves. And then the font here matches the numbers here. So there is a date on it. It blends in really nice to the case. And I love the symmetrical feel of the dial. It's a very symmetrical watch. This guy here, again, by design, it sticks out. But if we were to take that off, I mean, we're pretty much 100% symmetrical there. You have Nomos, and then in small print B underneath that, you have Glashütte. So very minimalist style. And, you know, Nomos has been around doing this kind of look for years, you know, and right now those watches, those Daniel Wellingtons and stuff, you know, that minimalist book. Well, these guys have been doing it for a long time. So that's the dial. Oh, hands. Duh. So the hands, we have rhodium plated hands, and they are filled with white superluminova. It glows green. And the superluminova on the dots here, that is a blue supernova, that superluminova, and that will glow green as well. And the lume on this guy is crazy. I'll put up a lume shot. I was taking some shots last night in the dark. Really pretty cool. So let's look at the back. So this is an in-house movement. Like I said, since 2005, Nomos has made all their movements for all their watches since 2005. And this one uses, let's see if I can move it over here, they call it a swing system, which is basically their branding for the escapement, the balance and the hairspring in there. So there's not a lot of manufacturers that make those components and install them and set that all up themselves. Well, Nomos does. It's a recent addition to their watchmaking capabilities. So this is the DUW 5101 in-house Nomos calendar, automatic winding with date. Like I said, it uses the swing system. It uses a tempered blue balance spring. It has a power reserve of 42 hours. It does have a stop seconds function, so I can hack the seconds. There's quite a few of tempered blue screws. Nice finishing. You have perlage around there. Can I zoom in even a little more? Will my camera focus? Whoa. There, how's that? You can see the nicely finished rotor with the Nomos name on there and some striping there on those plates there. Really neat. One thing that's a little interesting is the date function. So it does have a screwed down crown. Let me pull out here a little bit. So I'm gonna unscrew this guy. Pull out the crown. Let's see, where are we? So we're at noon. I'm gonna go around here. So go past midnight. So it's the 4th, and then we'll see the date switch to the 5th. Now this watch, this movement doesn't have a quick set feature where I can push this in and turn and adjust the date. When I'm in this position, I'm winding the watch. So what you do is you go past midnight. If I want to advance the date, I take this guy and go back to 9 o'clock and go forward, and we'll go from the 5th to the 6th. So Nomos calls it the semi-quick date. So no big deal. And you can see it switches there. So that's how to adjust the date on this guy. I really do like the hands. You can see that the minute hand goes all the way out to the minute markers. And then the hour hand just barely touches, actually doesn't touch, just comes really close to the hour markings, whether it's the numbers or the indices there, those marks. The design of this guy it's very detail oriented. I mean, you kind of get the feel that everything has been obsessed about. And I was reading, I don't know if it was online or if it was in one of their brochures about, I want to say it was a 4-year process from the beginning of concept drawings to doing plastic cases to prototyping to where the watch will actually be shown in Baselworld. So they are not like willy-nilly throwing something together. It is very well thought out. Okay, so let's get this on the wrist and talk about what it's like to wear this guy. Okay, so here we go. So This is interesting. You know, you always, I'm just moving this out of the way. So you hear about what is the wrist presence, right? You know, and when I first was looking at watches, I'm like, well, what the heck are they talking about? Well, this guy is 40 millimeters, right? So in the scheme of things, it's not a very big watch. It's very common size. We see a lot of watches and, you know, watches much bigger than this that are very being sold and current these days. But this wears big because it's all dial, right? I mean, there's this bezel is extremely tiny that goes here. So on the wrist presence of this is very large, but it's only 40 millimeters, so it wears very comfortably. Like I said, the lug to lug width is 51. So these lugs, they do angle down a little bit. It's not a very tall watch. So all in all, it's very comfortable with the way that it bevels down underneath here and the way it sits on the wrist. If I'm nitpicking, you know, this crown guard here, if it is not a big crown by any stretch of the means, it's a fairly small or proportional crown. It'd be neat if the crown could be a little closer, but again, it's only 40 millimeter. Wears really nice. The strap is extremely comfortable. So great summer watch. It really is. And, you know, just kind of talking about this watch, it's, you know, how do you categorize? Watches are watches, right? We all want to put labels on things, you know, and I got in trouble on a couple reviews ago about calling something a dress watch and what makes it a dress watch, and it's too thick and all that kind of stuff. And well, this is a watch. It tells time, and it's water resistant, and it has a really cool color. So it can be sporty, right? You could wear it in the summer. You could go to the pool. You don't have to worry about getting it wet, sweating. I live in Texas. Last weekend it was 106, extremely warm. So I could wear this outside with this fabric strap and no worries. So all in all, wearing this guy, very pleasant wearing experience. Like I said, it has a very large presence on the wrist, even though it's only a 40 millimeter. Okay, so my takeaways, maybe some likes and dislikes. So one thing that would be neat is if there was other strap options from Nomos that came with this, maybe like a rubber strap. I'd love to see what Nomos would do with kind of a Bauhaus rubber strap or something like that, or maybe a nice leather strap with rubber on the underside or something, just to give it some more options. I do personally like the dial. I like the layout, the hands, very easy to read. This, I was talking before about how symmetrical it is, and then this crown guard here changes the shape, and you know, I'm sure it's by design. That's what they wanted. It gives it a different feel here. It is what it is. It's just a little different. What do I like? Man, that dial, the symmetrical dial. I like the date at 7. I love that pop of orange. That is just so cool. It's just this little bit of orange, and under different light, sometimes it shows up orange. Sometimes it's more of a red. I had to ask my daughter. I'm like, is that red? Is it orange? She's like, Dad, it's orange. So, and the attention to detail with the matching color of the dial for the date disc underneath. Way cool. I wish more companies would do that kind of thing. And then the date doesn't take on this big design issue that throws off the balance of the dial. So we'll clean that off there. So this guy is the Nomos Ahoi Datum in Siren Blue. And this comes in at $4,660. It is available directly from the Nomos website or from a Nomos retailer near you. So once again, the Nomos Ahoi Datum. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and be sure to leave a comment below. I've been trying to be more interactive with the comments, and be sure to subscribe to Watch You Seek to keep up to date on all the new videos that we will be coming out with. Hey, I just wanted to give a shout out to the Watch You Seek store. So there's some pretty cool things. There's mugs, t-shirts, that kind of thing. I just got my new Watch You Seek t-shirt today. I'll put a photo in here of that. So check that out. And once again, thanks for watching.